Hi guys, so today is so-called Freedom Day, meaning most if not all the restrictions to protect the public from the pandemic are lifted. This is crazy. This is not just my opinion, it's shared by the majority of people in the UK and scientists around the world and Britain too. We're seeing cases rise on a daily basis. There will be confusion as whether individuals will be expected to wear face coverings or not. Some businesses are continuing to enforce guidance, while others are throwing off protections that were originally put in place to safeguard both the public and staff. But the stupidity isn't limited to Boris Johnson. It seems to be rife within the Conservative Party. This is Huw Merriman, a Tory MP. He is against extending the restrictions, and he gives his reasons.
Why were you against?
I just felt that it was time to live to the Prime Minister's mantra that we have to accept that COVID is here, use the vaccine distribution success that we've got, and try and get the country back to some kind of normality, not least because I'm concerned about the wider health issues, people having their operations held up, their cancer treatment delayed, and also mental health issues. So I think there's now a bigger health crisis.
The reason many of these restrictions are in place are to protect the NHS, because if the NHS gets overwhelmed, it means it won't be able to provide the services like cancer treatment and dealing with mental health. By allowing the cases to rise, and that's what's going to happen. Boris Johnson is basically opening the floodgates here, removing protections. Now, once again, I have said this before, many people will use, he didn't use it here, but many people use the word lockdown, that the lockdown has finally finished. There is no lockdown at the moment. There are some minor restrictions. Wearing a face mask inside a building. You don't have to wear it outside. All you're being asked to do is put on a mask when you enter a building. Maintain a little bit of distance from other people when you're inside. That's all. Really, what is so terrible about that?
It's being caused by the restrictions than the restrictions actually deliver in terms of health returns.
Even from a 4-week delay?
Yes, I do, because I think whilst ministers can say, well, these are just minor matters, the tail end of it, it's still sending a message out to the entire country that we're not back to some level of normality. And
that's his concern. His concern is the image here. Well, if the public think we're not back to some sort of normality, then we haven't defeated the virus. No, you have to defeat the virus by defeating the virus, not convincing the public that you have.
But we also are at a point, aren't we, where we risk a third wave that could be very significant, warning of potential exponential growth in infections and how many of those could well end up in hospital. And also scientific advisors telling us that even with this change, we could still have hundreds of deaths a day.
But it's quite interesting when you look at the modelling from the start of the roadmap, so February when that was announced, Imperial College mapped that they thought if we had Freedom Day of the 5th of July, then there'd be 7,000 inpatients for COVID in hospitals.
But the model was based on the data of the time. The data has changed. Why are you using a model that the scientists are no longer using? The scientists are saying today, using the data from today, it's a bad idea to ease the restrictions. What he's doing here is he's trying to use an old model and applying it to today, which scientists are not doing. Why are you doing that? You're using bad data to support an argument for easing restrictions. Shouldn't you use the data from today and decide whether it's a good idea to ease restrictions or not? Models change. Models are not static. But Boris Johnson is convinced it's more important to ease the restrictions because he needs to convince the public that everything's back to normal and he has defeated the pandemic, and his Tory MPs are backing him on that. Unfortunately, I think he has made a big mistake, and scientists are supporting this position as well, that cases are going to rise, hospitalizations are going to rise, and if they continue following that trend, there's a risk, a real risk, that there will need to be another lockdown sometime later in the year. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?